Hello. Welcome. Good morning. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair. Where's your jacket so we can be opposite, inside opposite?
So proud of myself. I actually brushed my hair today. It's looking good.
I did too.
Yeah. Your hair looks great,
Okay.
JP.
Thank you.
Oh wait, I do need to put on my jacket.
Put your jacket on. We're opposite.
We did opposites.
But we're the same.
Still the same.
We're the same. We're sisters from another mister.
It made me feel so much better. I was watching Steve Dace. I'm always a day late, so I watch it every day when I'm getting ready. And yesterday's show on his show was an absolute disaster. Like the opening, like the montage didn't work. The microphones weren't coming on. Everything went black. And I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. Now his was just like once a year. Ours is like once a day. But we're professional too. And now we match.
But do they have a makeshift teleprompter?
No, they don't have a makeshift teleprompter. They don't have, well, they do have fun, but I'd say we have more fun while talking about, yeah. I think they're a little afraid of us as well. You know, we're a lot.
Yeah.
And that day we were a lot. Yeah. But we are the right side, by the way. That's who we are.
What?
We're glad you're the
Details.
Right side. We are the right, but you're in the right place at the right time. And we are the right side. And by the way, can I tell them about our website?
Yeah. Well, tell him not to judge fully.
Okay, listen. Remember how just being Melanie, that funny lady with millions of followers now says we listen and we don't judge. Our website is live. Live, L-I-V-E, all caps, exclamation point. It's live. And yes, there are some tweaks to be made. Are the editorials beautifully titled, filled with an editorial? No, but that doesn't mean they won't be. But everything else is there, and we owe a debt of gratitude. I don't even know if we're supposed to say his name, but we owe a debt of gratitude to a young man who is a genius, and he's working on the newsletter now. But Allison Sinclair, thank you for making that connection for us. It is sick.
Can you pull it up, JP?
Mm-hmm.
It's sick.
It looks so good. Good sick or bad sick?
So good. Sick.
Like
good sick.
Bad or bad?
In our vernacular, it's bad.
It's good.
Bad.
Good sick.
Yeah. It's fun. Wow. He done did it.
It looks so good. Now, do you think that'll update?
I already did.
It already did. It did?
Oh, this is today, even though it was yesterday. Oh, look at the flood. We even have flood coverage.
Guys, it flooded in the State House. Are you aware?
Oh, we're going to talk about that first. I hope y'all know.
Can't wait to talk about it, as if the Lord needed to send any more reasons to have a new State House. That's your sign. Get out. So, just rightsidemedia.org. Rightsidemedia.org. One more time for those in the back. Rightsidemedia.org. It is LIVE exclamation point. Jazz hands. We are so excited.
In case you missed it, you can watch the live stream. It's just there on the page. You can go down and scroll down and follow us on all the social medias. The buttons are live. You can read our op-eds. You can subscribe to the newsletter. What else can you do? There's probably a clock on there if you need to keep time. We are full service.
Such a boomer.
We are so full service. There's a clock. Because, Allison and I moved out of the place where there's always a clock. And the Lord gave us new digs here. And that is the kitchen. There's a clock in the kitchen.
Clock on the stove.
But the Lord said, no, we're going
to
give you an opportunity to go here. But we're also surrounded by clocks too.
Well, that's why we have this, to make y'all feel at home.
Thank you.
There's no stove here,
digital.
JP, I really kind of hoped for Mother's Day that you might give us also maybe some cookware. So in case we really need to think things out and feel like we're at home where we do most of our thinking, which is over the stove, we could just cook right there.
I'd love some shoes to wear in the kitchen.
I do need to get my happily married two moms, Mother's Day gifts.
Hey, always.
It was. We were going to make that joke at the Turning Point Pastors Conference, and then we decided
Probably should.
let's just
It
don't
wasn't the right audience.
confuse things.
It wasn't, but we are so thankful. This feels official and real. And then the next official and real thing that's going to happen is the newsletter. So thank you for your patience. That will debut very soon. And we're excited about that. But we're also excited about the guest we've had, the guest we will have in the weeks ahead. We have Robert Aderholt, Representative Robert Aderholt, on later today.
AKA Bobby, if you're
so inclined.
Stop.
It was so unlike you.
Well, I didn't say Bobby to him.
No. Well, so
said-
we pre-recorded the interview because congressmen are busy. And so he calls in yesterday. And in my head, JP is like, "What's up, Bob?"
I am ultra, like, I try to make sure everybody's title is ultra correct. I've always been like that in this job. And I don't know why. We were like having some fun conversation off air and he joined and I saw his name, just said Robert Aderholt. So I had to go, "Hey, Robert, can you hear me?" And I go, "Wait, this is a congressman we're talking to."
Time out. So we have a good interview to share with you later today. In a little bit, though, we have the Joey Clark. He's a radio host in Montgomery. He is a longtime friend of ours. He is an op-ed writer. He also is a musician, and he has some songs out that are incredible. So we're going to have I don't even know, because there's nothing he knows everything. But we're going to have a wide-ranging conversation with Joey Clark. We hope this is the first of many times he'll come on the show. And then, though, we have updates because, like JP said, it flooded in the State House. Flooded. You could have taken a kayak and gone through the halls. You could have in like outside. Get the kayak. No faking.
It's just funny because somebody sent us a video. They went down in the basement, and that's the dungeon. That's where we were and did our State House video. Well, we were just looking for the cafeteria, but there is not one. And like all the where they keep the gimps.
The gimps? What's a gimp?
What? I said that. Where they keep the bad legislators down there. It's flooded. And I just kept waiting for the locusts.
Joey's picture.
So somebody put out and said, "What do you think Kay Ivey's doing during this whole mess?" Joey Clark posted that picture. I can't remember why he made that. He made that.
It was last year it was when we were on our other show when he made that.
Yeah, but what was it for? Why
I
Kay
can't
Ivey?
remember, but she's on a multicolored jet ski with a bright pantsuit, having the time of her life, what appears to be at the edge of the
Perdido
Gulf.
Key.
Yeah. So we'll ask Joey about that in a few minutes. But it flooded. It flooded.
The frogs are coming. What'd you say, JP? Everybody's really worried about their firstborn.
Yeah, the firstborn in Montgomery are sweating right now.
It's not funny.
No, it is funny.
But the national news media picked it up and
Oh, yes. I'll just say, okay, we can eventually play the video of them passing SB1 as the tornado sirens are blaring and a fire alarm is going off in the chamber and everybody's like frantically running around and it was the definition of ramming it through. But it's just the most bizarre video because something so big and consequential like that under those conditions. But yeah, I saw the Democrats were posting it saying nationwide that if it looks like this when you're ramming something through, it's probably a sign. But then obviously the conservatives are calling all the Republicans patriots for doing it under those conditions. But it was fitting, I guess, with how consequential this special session is.
Absolutely.
Are we going to talk about it now or are we going to talk about it with Joey? Because I have so much to say about it.
Okay. Can we talk about it now? Because I want to read what some of the Democrats were saying about the flood.
Please. Let's go.
Let me pull it up. First, we're going to start with our favorite.
Oh, what? We have so many favorites.
You know, my bestie who jumped the shark and
Pastor
just
Jamel
kind of
Brown. Let me see if I can zoom in on this here. See what he said.
I so wanted him to have him on the show until he came out with his OnlyFans page, and then I was like, I don't think that's appropriate.
I'm gonna read it in his voice. So, God flooded the Alabama State House today for the wickedness of the leaders in position who's determined to oppress his people. And posted all these pictures of the flooding.
I mean, that's serious.
It's a lot of water,
It looks
you
kinda like
guys.
not pretty water.
And can we play a little bit
It's
of
like snaky water.
It looks like poopy water.
Wandalyn Gavan's Facebook Live?
Oh, what did she say?
Did she run over to the Senate? Was that her? No, who was videoing the one in the Senate?
I'm not sure, but we need to play. We need to play this.
Oh gosh.
God don't like ugly.
Okay.
She does 5 minutes of that.
Okay. I would like to say that her glasses and that green, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But the language of oppression and the God don't like ugly and he's displeased, we need to have some thoughts about that. So, Allison, why don't you go first?
What? The God I know is for freedom and liberty of his people, not oppression. And that's what I thought that was of that the white people have to save the black people of Alabama so they have a way to vote. Like that's essentially what these districts are. Is like we need the legislature, we need the government to come in and lobby on our behalf because we are not strong enough to go vote to stand up for what we believe in like everybody else. Am I wrong?
No.
But it's so bizarre because how do Wandalyn and Jamel not see that? Like why
They can't. The framework that they have been raised with and taught from the time they were on their mother's knee is that you are oppressed. The white man is oppressing you, and you are the only people who can save yourselves.
No.
And that's where their mindset is coming from. So they believe that this is the worst thing that could ever happen.
But they're asking the white man to continue to save them. And do you see what I'm saying? Like they're still whatever what they're asking for, they're still at the mercy of the white man, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
because they're bashing all the Republicans who are white. We have one black Republican in the legislature. So they're asking the white men to save them still.
They feel like they still have to be like the that they still think it's Montgomery 1950s and 1960s. But that's their identity, is they feel like they have to, because if they're not fighting as victims and they're constantly being oppressed, like they genuinely don't see it from that lens. They genuinely think that this is the white man trying to rid them of their representation and box them like it's 1950s. But like when I see these protests and see these videos, it's like they're LARPing as 1950 Alabama protesters that are having to march the bridge and having to, which back then they actually had to, but they still haven't rid themselves of that way of thinking. But because that's their identity, like their whole identity is that they have to fight something, and that's their cause that they think they have to fight. So this gives them all the ammunition to do that. And then, of course, the state house floods. So then they can try and say that God is on their side with this. Which, yeah, if you read the Bible and know God is not for that mindset and thinking. But that's how they view it. They don't view it through that lens.
It's Marxism is their lens. And it's Black liberation theology is married to Marxism. That's essentially what it is. And as long as they continue to be the oppressed, white men will continue to be the oppressor. But you can't fit in that lens without your permission either. They may be still asking the white man, and I like your profound statement, for help, but they do so willingly and ignorantly because they can. And here's what I mean. In 1965, we had changes we had to make. We made those changes. But when you worship in the church of Marxism, there is no forgiveness of sins. There's only the next thing that you're oppressed by. So that people can't ever keep up and they can't ever be sorry enough because, well, too bad, we're on to the next thing. And so that's their church, that's their altar, and that's where they're going to stay because it gives them political power. Meanwhile, as we were learning and talking to K. Carl Smith yesterday, most people, though, leadership is one thing. Community organizers, pastors, and their politicians are in a little cabal, the triangle, as Vince Everett Ellison says. Meanwhile, the rest of the people are like, we believe in freedom. We believe in liberty. We believe in having opportunity. We believe in hard work and taking care of our families. And the reason they're held back is by that iron triangle of leadership that they continue to fall under. And they don't have to. And so that's why this is hard to break out of, because who wants to give up being a victim? Our leaders certainly don't. There's no money unless you're a victim or you're the leaders of the victims. When we're saying, guys, we want to value you for who you are as God's child. The Bible says there's no favoritism, none. There's no unjust weights or measures. There's just you as a person, and this is what we're trying to get back to. Booker T. Washington said, reformation, not revolution. And the reformation has to start in your heart first with God, not man. But they want revolution. And in that Marxist church, it's never going to end unless people are set free. And many of them are, because many of them are loosening their ties to the Democratic Party and becoming Republicans because they're like, wait, we are for freedom. We are for liberty. But it's hard because they'll talk circles around you. And you go, really, y'all are just saying Marxist ideology. That's all this is. Stop it. Just stop it.
So I'm sorry. I have a question for you, though.
No, that's good. I mean, does that make sense?
It really does. But I'm curious because you were certified Black enough
yes, ma'am,
to answer this. Do you see their side at all? Like yesterday, K. Carl Smith was saying, but we have to do it right. I was actually kind of surprised at his pause and his answer, but it made me think, I guess in some ways there is a right way and a wrong way, and our human hearts may always substitute discrimination for another discriminatory factor. Do you see their side at all? Is there any legitimacy to the fears that they have?
I think the fears are learned fears.
Okay.
And then the learned fears become baked in fears. And then you just live with it because you're just going to live in fear. If 1965 hadn't happened and we hadn't made amends, or if a book like The Color of Law hadn't been written and we could see with our own eyes that it was the government who's done the oppressing. But we atoned for that. We made changes, and it was the Republicans always making the changes, not the Democrats. So I want to be treated as a person with the same access to opportunities. We're going to have different opportunities and work hard like everybody else. Because in our world, I see that we get along pretty well. We're told by the lamestream media and by Democrats that we don't get along. In my world, we all get along. I was raised as a human by my parents, and I'm thankful for that because I didn't know where I belonged. But they raised us just as people. And that's what we have to get back to. But it is very hard to do that when the framework so far has been you are oppressed and we're the only people who can get you out. No, you're a child of God and he can get you out. Stop relying on the politicians because when the money dries up, what are they going to leap to next?
It's good. It's really good.
Okay.
You're preaching and meddling this morning. It's really good.
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Preach, sister. You belonged with the Italians. You know that.
I did belong with the Italians.
Until you
And then it
realized you
turns
weren't
out
Italian.
I'm not Italian. And I'm like, wow, well, that makes so much sense.
Where's our Italian representation
Where did you
in
go?
the state?
Where did Rosaria go? Well, no, it turns out no. But I
wish I would have had Kay Carl's face yesterday when you showed him a picture of your biological father.
He goes, oh, he's chocolate.
he is chocolate. I'm like, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Awesome.
And our kids, it's crazy. The story God has given me is insane. But our heart here is for all people to know freedom in Christ. It is Christ alone who sets you free to go and know freedom, period. Now, what do we want? We want God-fearing politicians. I hear what Kay Carl says. We all did. We want to make sure that fears are answered and representation is had. But that also happens because the other politicians need to come over and listen to all their constituents. So that's a valid point. But here's what it could do: bring us all together. But who doesn't benefit if we are all together?
Well, yes, the left. They have nothing to cry about and wail and gnash their teeth in the streets. But another point, and we talked about this before the show, is I don't think our side does a great job, and you can speak to this, articulating why we believe what we believe. I think you watch the legislators down in Montgomery clam up. And they don't want to speak to what is happening and why actually this is the right thing. So kind of talk about that. Like why can't we lovingly say we really feel like we're doing right by all Alabamians? We care about you. This is why we're freeing you. You don't have to be boxed in. I mean, and I use the words because that's what they're acting like. We cannot be free unless these white male legislators free us. So why do we have a hard time?
Well, we're about to go to break, by the way.
Okay, maybe we can continue this because I think Joey's coming on.
Yep. Well, we got some texts and comments. We want to read those before we go to break.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll press pause and perhaps come back in the 11 o'clock hour. But good. I have a quick
somebody
thought about
write that down. I don't even know what I said.
All right. Yep.
Okay.
JP, what we got in the text line?
We got a shaver in the comments actually. Emmy Shaver saying that she loves the new site.
Look at
hey Emmy.
Those little those youngins, not boomers. They can just do things on the computer so fast.
They really can.
It's really amazing.
Ashley on the YouTube, she said, Gavan and the BLM protesters is why God flooded the state house, and you can't change my mind. There was a lot of language that misrepresents God in his name.
Yes, ma'am.
She also said maps should be based off population, and that's the only unbiased way to draw congressional maps.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
She also says, I'm Italian, and we need Italian representation if we are drawing maps based off of race. Italians don't whine and cry. We just work hard and succeed.
That is true.
It's good. She's on fire.
Big Dave, he said,
Big Dave!
Speaking the truth.
Hey, my friend.
James from Blount County on the text line says, did it flood in the cafeteria at the State House?
Yes, there are no more butter beans. They're gone.
And Brad from Crimestone, last one, he says, quote, Alabama didn't ask DC for permission. He said, I like this a lot. More, please. We need to think less about DC and more about Alabama. In a similar vein, quote, think locally, act locally. Brian McClanahan.
It's a good word.
All
As
good
always,
words.
Brad from Crimestone coming in there with the fast pitch. It's good. It works.
Surprised he didn't use a big word.
I know. Thank you. It's
Maybe
early.
Brad can send in the word of the day since we're already on a roll.
Oh yeah.
Could you please, Brad?
And Brad, can you do some Gen Z, Gen Alpha word of the day research?
Gen Alpha is bad. We can't do those.
Okay, maybe
Okay.
just stick with Gen Z. Y'all will be back with Joey Clark. Don't go anywhere. Enjoyed our conversation with Catherine Robertson, who is a candidate for Attorney General of the state of Alabama.
Catherine began her public service in Washington as clerk and counsel to Senator Jeff Sessions on the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee.
She served as the vice president of the Alabama Policy Institute under Gary Palmer and has been the chief counsel in the Attorney General's office under Steve Marshall for the past 10 years.
In this interview, we discuss what makes her qualified to be Alabama's next Attorney General and specific issues that matter to Alabamians and fun questions so that you get to know Catherine, the individual.
We hope you enjoy our following conversation with her and get to know Catherine Robertson.
Welcome. We are here with Catherine Robertson, who is running for Attorney General of Alabama. Thank you for joining us today.
Really fun to be with y'all. Thanks for letting me wear a hat.
I love your hat.
Yeah.
I'm upset I don't have my hat on.
You're left out.
I'm totally left out today.
Hers is pretty cool, though. I can't read it because my eyes are going bad, but it's
Marshall County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Phil Sims gave me this hat. He's a good dude. I love to wear it.
I am guessing he endorsed you.
Yes.
Nice, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's Rightside Media. You can have one too.
Yeah. Love it.
Blue or black? Take your pick.
Oh, yeah. Looks good.
So why don't we're going to get right to it. First question, pretty basic. What qualifies you to be Alabama's next Attorney General?
Well, I came into the office with Steve Marshall. I beat him by about a month, but we learned the job together. We learned the job over the course of the last 10 years, but really those first 2 or 3 years, getting your arms wrapped around the office. And in my mind, if you have an opportunity to elect someone that's had that kind of training and that kind of experience over a decade with everything we've seen and everything we've experienced, seems like a pretty good choice. So that's why I'm running. I just hated to see 20 years of experience of that office of executive leadership walk out the door at the same time, because I think continuity there is going to serve well all of our newly elected constitutional officers.
Right now in Alabama, what do you see as the biggest weaknesses in the criminal justice system?
Well, we've corrected a lot of them. I'll say that. I mean, when we got there in 2016, our legislature was in a posture of really being concerned more about prison overcrowding than kind of the back end outcomes of leniency. And so we made a variety of policy changes, working with our legislature. And so the criminal justice system right now is a lot tougher than it was. I think the weaknesses right now come down to really 2 things. One, I'm not sure our DA's offices have the resources they need to move cases quickly. And 2, there are just parts of our state where the elected judges just don't serve the people as well as they should. And so the slowdowns, I would say, are the biggest weaknesses. Now, last year, I drafted a law that passed called the Speedy Trial Act, and we can get into that. But that is a tool that's going to be used and has been used to speed up violent crime cases. But it's just the slowdowns. We wait too long for cases to be tried, for justice to be served. And a lot of times those offenders are out on bond committing other crimes in the meantime. It's a real problem.
Are there activist judges? Do you see that frequently? Judges in Alabama pushing their own agenda? Or do you just think this is purely a manpower kind of office flow?
I think there are places in our state where the elected judges are Democrats and have a different philosophy, probably a more lenient philosophy. And you can get into a really deep debate about whether we should have elected judges or not. I think ultimately I think elected judges is a good thing, but once they're there and they're really lenient and people get mad, it's really difficult to recruit candidates to those races, and it's really hard for them to beat incumbents, and so you get a little stuck. But I don't know that it's activism as much as just a mindset of, I'm here to show grace or be lenient, and where you fall on that spectrum probably has a lot to do with your personal philosophy and ideology.
So to the hat you're wearing and the illegal immigrants that are being gathered up in Marshall County. It's a place Alabamians probably know a lot about. That may be one of the first places people go, oh, that's in Marshall County. Yeah. What are the legal tools that Alabama has to respond to the consequences of illegal immigration?
Yeah. States have been hamstrung in large part to do immigration enforcement themselves. Alabama tried to pass a law to empower the state and empower law enforcement several years ago, and most of that got struck down. So the best tool we have now is partnerships. Sheriff Phil Sims, who you just mentioned, has a great partnership going with ICE. And so it's just a collaborative, cooperative relationship. I think the unique role that the AG's office plays is the national litigation that we take part in. I mean, of course, we're going to be facilitating law enforcement relationships. We even have a federal law enforcement.
Welcome back to The Right Side. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. We are thrilled to be joined by Montgomery's own, the Joey Clark.
Joey! Okay, you do have the long hair again. His microphone isn't working. Hold on. You might have to bow out and come back.
It would be us. You good?
He still can't.
No, we can't hear him still.
Can you text the man? It's his
studio. This is incredible.
Yeah, he'll have to join back in.
Is it us? Okay. I mean,
well,
it's like you said at the beginning of the show. Steve Dace has technical issues.
You know what I'm going with? I'm going with that we're doing something. Like if Montgomery thinks the Lord was working in Montgomery, I think the Lord is working here because we're doing something really good. Yeah. I don't know. Joey might save the world for Jesus today.
You don't know. That's why. I mean,
but I'm so glad he has his long hair back.
I know. I like his long hair.
He kind of looks like Jesus.
He does. He should consider acting.
He's got the voice.
He's got it all.
No, he's not back.
Okay. It's going to be fine.
But he is going to have so much to say about Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait.
All right. He is back. Let's see if we can try it again.
Let's
breaker 119.
Hi.
Is this working now?
Hi.
This is called technical difficulties. But what I was saying is the hair looks fabulous. You kind of look like Jesus.
I don't know about that.
I think that might be illegal to say.
No, I think
it's not illegal.
It's okay. You look like Jesus. We mean that in a complimentary way.
It does come in handy at church when the little kids are like being rowdy and brats, and I'll just look at them and they just shut up.
You lay your hand out and say, "Calm, my child."
It's better. I'd take Jesus over Keanu Reeves. It's a change up. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Do people like quote The Matrix to you? And
no, it's fine. That's a great documentary.
That's good. So you are doing so much. You've always been musical. You've always written so beautifully. And you've had your radio show. I don't even know where to start first because I swear I'm not in love. What? This music, that song is a bop. And then you go to that beautiful reverential worship song that also I was sharing with Allison. And then you're like, I don't even know where to start first. So you take it wherever you want it to go. But we do want to talk about redistricting in Montgomery because you're a citizen and you know what's going on there. And we would love your thoughts on that as well.
Well, I'll put it this way, because I guess it's National Prayer Day. Gave away my mom's scholarship we set up in her name yesterday, and I was telling the folks, the young kids at Catholic, that you can learn so much more from prayer than books, so much more from prayer than the news, so much more from prayer than pretty much anything else you can do, especially about the people that shape you and the institutions that shape you. So I've been very much in prayer a lot, especially since Lent, since Easter. I try to be in prayer hours of the day. As much as I read and check out the news, I will try to make that time. And what you find out of that is insights and perspective on how crazy our world is right now, including even in our great home state of Alabama, but nationwide, even crazier. Then you also get inspirations, at least I do in my case. And so like the music's just been coming out of me. And I've always tinkered with music. I've never been talented enough to do fully produced, like, professional grade stuff. But with the new AI technology, you can write stuff. And I've been writing songs for years, and be able to spin it up and have musical ideas come to life is pretty fun.
You've been like, I was just reading through some of the op-eds you've written and some of your songs and just things you posted on social media. So I don't think this is overreach to ask, but when we first met you years ago, you were not where you are now.
Correct.
What is this? Was there kind of a acute moment that you're like, I'm going to start on this journey? Because I feel like you're about to like go join a monastery. like you're like what you write is so profound, but the Joey I knew 5 years ago, it's amazing to watch what God is doing in your life and leading you down this path. Was it something that happened, or how did you get here?
I've been wrestling with it for years. Even when I was calling myself an agnostic atheist, I was still quoting the Bible and trying to take it seriously. I would have to credit, and I'll pray for that man, Jordan Peterson, and his health. Like a lot of young men, Jordan Peterson got me at least interested in the Bible again. And so I'd been wrestling with it. Folks at 1819 said the one agnostic atheist we have quotes the Bible more than anybody else. So, but I still was in that game of like, well, I don't know if I really believe, or it's like taking it as if it's true. And well, I was in the studio with Eddie, as you all know, Eddie Bader, that fool. And
Love Eddie. Tell him we said hey.
I definitely will. And he had to go do some real estating, and he stands up and he points at the TV and goes, "Oh, look, something happened to Charlie Kirk." And I was like, "Oh." And so I'm in that studio. Y'all been there, by myself, and I'm scrolling through X, and I see the close-up HD video of him being murdered. And then I immediately had to go back on air seconds after I saw that. And I started crying and praying badly, but crying and praying, which was not like me. And out of that, I picked up a study Bible. I'd been kind of flirting with a lot of, especially Catholic podcasts, like Matt Fradd is pretty great, and a guy named Scott Hahn. And I just started reading that study Bible, starting in the New Testament. And it started to get more into my writing, into my thinking. And I realized on Ash Wednesday, I decided to do Hollow App's Pray 40 thing. And the first part of that prayer was called the Litany of Humility. Still do it every morning. And it made me, break down in tears. And because I'd felt the pull, I'm like, I have to go back. And the beautiful thing about being raised Catholic, 12 years of Catholics, preschool through high school, Catholic, and confirmed and everything, is I just have to go confess, and I'm back in good standing technically. So it was a very long confession. Very long indeed. And from there, the church was just packed to the gills. And by the way, I'll admit, I was like one of 20 white folks at the 6 o'clock Ash Wednesday. The first reading was in Spanish. They then read it in English. And so I was like, oh, wow, what is this church I was raised in? So I went back the next morning to do 6:30 Mass. And I saw so many faces, people that I've known through the years when I was a kid, just growing up. And I missed a couple Saturdays, but I try to go to Mass every morning now. I'm really big into, not to be a Catholic evangelist too much, but I'm really big into the Rosary. I think it's one of our greatest spiritual weapons against evil forces. It just especially also to help you meditate and think things through. And so as I've just gone deeper and deeper into that and doing that every day, I kind of find the rhythms and the melodies and the music of the liturgy singing to me. And what's so beautiful about especially the liturgy and the Mass is every day you have a reading from Scripture. They're all corresponding. So like, we're in the Easter season. Everything is from the Acts of the Apostles and mostly the Gospel of John. And so it's just, I find myself being pulled back and being pulled back deeper. I'm even this crazy. I'll end with this, because I am still paying attention to politics. I made it a challenge to myself to be able to say the Rosary without reading it, all in Latin, and get it done by Pentecost. And I'm getting pretty close. So
That's
the Our
impressive.
Fathers, the Hail Marys, the Glory Bees, Still have trouble with the Apostles' Creed, but everybody has trouble with that in English.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
So I'm in deep, as I guess, like, and I don't know. My brother and my father both said, "I think you're becoming a priest." I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. But I'll take it day by day.
Are you open to it?
Yeah, I'm not going to say just no. I'll take it day by day. But I don't know if I'd want to be a diocesan priest, like a pastor or associate at a church. I almost like the idea of the religious orders. I really love the Carmelite tradition, of the monk tradition. So that would be like St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa Avila, and they're, I guess, in Spain in the 15th, 16th century. And it's really meditative stuff.
Mark.
Hmm.
He's all grown up.
It's incredible.
It's such a great story.
It is incredible. And so, what do you take then from your depth and breadth of study? And let's pivot to culture, because I think I know you're right. When you spend time, adequate time in prayer and adequate time in study of the word, it changes everything. How has that affected your view of your job and how you present the news and your opinions?
Well, I begin the show differently, and this is a simple thing. I always begin the show with thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful show. Montgomery needs a new mayor.
That's so true.
Maybe I'll start every hour that. But it's really given me perspective. One of the things that really hit me, and I wrote about it, I think it's called Praying from Morning Star to Morning Stars. I used to wake up in the morning. I'm not exaggerating. Even when I was just a producer for like Dan Morris and Greg Budell, and I'd start reading the news fervently. And I'm not exaggerating. I would literally have daydreams of let the nuclear weapons fly. Like, let it just all end. I now look back on that, and I'm like, that is a very demonic point of view of wanting it all to just end. And there's this Charles Bukowski poem called Genius of the Crowd. I won't try to recite it. It's insightful, but it's very cynical. It's very dark. And it was almost like a diabolical prayer I was saying every morning as I looked at the news. And so what happens is I make sure the first words that fall from my lips when I wake up early in the morning is, I believe in God the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. And when you have that center, and then I'll go work out, and then, okay, now I'll look at the news for an hour or two. And you start to see like how the idols people, and myself included over the years, the idols people worship and kneel before. And whether it's materialistic concerns or it's power, just think of the three temptations of Christ in the desert as he begins his ministry. Change these rocks into bread. That's all the comforts we have in life. And I mean, I still love to eat. Who doesn't like all the creature comforts we have? But then there's the testing of God, as well as, sort of the offer of just bow down to me. You can have all the kingdoms of earth. So just look at those three, and they are everywhere, and I can't unsee it. But then also there's a mix of, you start to see the grace of folks. And what's beautiful, though, it's not like I literally heard voices. It's like, I started to realize the amount of people that have been praying for me over the years. And there's a beautiful thing, along with also being shocked at, like, look at the culture. Where are we?
So moving into this more deep thinking, philosophical, which it's always been there, but there's something new and different in you. Does politics still matter in the big picture? Like, have you changed your view on kind of what we do? Is this important, or do we just tap out?
No, I think it's important. I think there is definitely a role for civil authorities and their job of upholding the common good and justice in the larger society. Yeah, I think I definitely pray for our political leaders. I think they have a truly difficult job. And the good ones in particular, usually they get the most attacks. So no, I don't think what we do is unimportant. I think what we do needs to be grounded, if we keep doing it, in the word, in the scriptures. That needs to be our true north, to where when all the controversies of the day or the latest silly crap on X comes up, you have perspective and you can kind of see through it. I do somewhat worry, just as I'm doing this deep dive back into my Catholic faith, now the Pope and Trump are in a battle, and I'm like, I don't like the Pope. I like his brother a lot better. He wouldn't be Pope if I wasn't president. And that same week he's posting himself looking like Jesus, the president is, then orders DoorDash, Mickey D's through DoorDash. They ask him, why did you post a picture of yourself as Jesus Christ? He goes, it wasn't. It was a doctor. Do you not love the Red Cross? I'm like, what sitcom am I watching? So there's a lot of fun that can still be had and a lot of laughter. In fact, I find that I was fading away from enjoying already, like the politics doesn't matter. That's why let the nukes fly. Even the TV and the comedy I'd watch and laughing like a cynical dog. It's like, oh, I've tried all the food. I've watched all the funny stuff. I've seen all the political controversies and palace intrigues. And since I've gotten back to faith, it's like, oh, stuff that I got over, some I won't revisit. I think it's bad for you. But other things I'm like, oh, I can laugh again at this, or I can enjoy a simple pleasure. Like, oh, this is a very simple thing. Like, I've started to notice nature a lot more. Bird singing, just the sunrise and how it, cracks through the clouds, even on a cloudy day. And so that you can apply that to the political world as well. You start to notice things you just never saw before.
The birds and stuff, Joey, I hate to say it. That's also called getting old.
Yeah, well, yes. I live with my grandfather.
We do like bird updates.
We love birds.
Yes, it's really sad around here.
We have a goose that is our mascot, and we have a darling bluebird, and he loves to sit on our window. Like,
see, we got her going.
So I hear you. It is amazing how the word of God clarifies and sharpens your view. And I just am resonating with what you're saying. If we could have your view as a Montgomery citizen and put a fine point then on the biggest political goings on in the country it feels like it's happening in Alabama because it's a battle. Could you help us frame the maps? How are you thinking about the maps? How would you push back on the pushback of redrawing the maps? Help us with that.
A broad picture. This is another death blow as liberal boomerdom is in its death throes. And the civil rights movement was a huge moment in the 20th century, especially for the left, for the liberal boomer. And what's interesting to me is a lot of those victories aren't completely gone away. A lot of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is not completely gone away, as much as you will hear them say Reconstruction and Jim Crow and all that's coming back, poll tax come back, counting the number of jelly beans and literacy tests. Like, no, it's not. It's just on this particular compromise made in the 1980s by the U.S. Senate that had to do with voter dilution claims. And I wrote about this last year because I started reading Clarence Thomas's dissents in a lot of these cases, in particular that Alabama case in 2023. And Thomas called it all the way back in 1991, in fact, that if we keep applying this rule, they call it the Jingles or the Gingles test, you'll end up with a group entitlement based on race, sort of right to proportional representation, which is against all sorts of great ideas and say like the 14th Amendment and the whole natural rights individualist tradition of our Constitution. So I think it was a great decision. It was awesome to see that decision come down. And my view is that Alabama should go for 7-0. Go for all Republican seats. And for everybody who screams about the past and screams about, like Shamari Figures, a congressman who did end up, I guess he didn't really live here, but he's got family here. Anyway, moves back, becomes congressman in that brand new district the courts drew up. He was saying that, well, Trump's just trying to do everything he can to make sure the Republicans stay in power. And I'm like, yeah. Like, isn't that
exactly
what you want? I'm like, and I've always thought of it this way. Like, say I was a doctor and I was trying to tell you to come to my practice. I'll help you with your medicine and what you need, but don't go to those other doctors across town because you know what? All they do is practice medicine over there. and it's just like, okay, we want Republicans that want to win, and we want to win, and you should want to win. And Democrats, if they would wake up, they should want to win too. In fact, they behave that way, and they have behaved that way for a long, long time. So yeah, I think it's more big picture because of the technological changes and what Trump has done, shaping the Supreme Court in particular. Yeah, we're in a new era now. As liberal boomerdom is in its death throes, I think it's more dangerous than ever. Literal dangers like assassination attempts and other things like what happened to Charlie Kirk. But then also I think the technological upheaval and all the other stuff that's going on with AI and yada, yada, yada. It's not like we're not going to make new mistakes. with the younger generation. So that's why, again, coming back to it, our center has to be something eternal. Like as much as AI is pretty clever and great, even for helping to study the Bible, it'll never be able to literally consume the word and embody it like we can. And I think that's what'll get us through as we head into a pretty, I think it's going to be a crazy new time. It's already crazy.
I really am curious, and I'm going to put you on the spot because I know you are in Montgomery and you hear a lot of things. You also have been in this world for a long time. When the Supreme Court decision came down, there was lots of talk. Tommy Tuberville, Speaker Ledbetter, everybody's putting out 7-0, 7-0, 7-0. Well, after the governor, woke up and did what she did. Why does it seem like, what's your guess on why they are kind of backing down from that and now settling on the 6-1 map? Is it purely because of the technical side? Do you think that's a legitimate argument? Or are you hearing there's some other reason? I mean, I just don't know. There was such a push at the beginning, and now it's like we can't even talk about 7-0.
Yeah, I think it's the technical thing, and I'll be reasonable with them and say that might very well be legitimate. I think there are a lot of people in the Senate, in particular state Senate, that would like to see 7-0. But if you're looking at the time frame, I'm in the camp of go full hilt, like in the sense of like if you can't quite get it as fast as you would like, then have the elections later, especially the congressional elections. But yeah, it does look like, especially as they're tearing down the old state house, and I guess the flooding yesterday, those dramatic scenes. I'll take 6-1, but I think after Tuberville gets in there, it will be 7-0. And and if Kay Ivey, I'm sorry, Sugar, if she doesn't want to do it, she should resign and let Will Ainsworth take over for a little bit.
100%. I don't know how much time do we have?
However long you want.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
That's such a good answer,
Couple
JP.
minutes. Thanks, JP.
A couple minutes, like 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
I would love your thoughts. I just kind of jumped in front of you.
It's okay.
Well, no, you go first.
No, you go first.
I just want to know your thoughts on these Alabama races. May 19th is going to be here in like lickety split. Start with the U.S. Senate race. Go on down to the ones that you think we need to be watching.
I think Barry Moore's always been a great campaigner. I saw him like squeak out into that runoff when he ran for Congress, just beating then Jessica Taylor by a few hundred votes, gets in with Jeff Coleman and then wins. Nobody expected that with all of Jeff Coleman's money. And so Barry also beats Jerry Carl in that with the new districts. He's always just been a good campaigner. And I think Trump was just tweeting about him or posting truthing about him today again. So you can't discount Barry's just skill as a campaigner and his ability to, take the Trump endorsement and run with it. That said, Steve Marshall's sort of been hanging around. I feel like this is wind in his sails with this redistricting fight. He's been in the spotlight a lot and getting a lot of national attention. Perhaps that's why Trump put out that, hey, reminder, I've endorsed Barry Moore. But I really do like Jared Hudson. And one thing I've told Jared and his guys, that for all the conversation about the traditional vote and the Trump endorsement, we are in this new media environment. And I think the Hudson campaign has the best digital campaign, hands down. And Jared's only gotten better the more I've seen him. I think the change started when he told Don Lemon, I'll be your Huckleberry. And like, I have trouble seeing this. It definitely goes to runoff, and my guess would be Barry and Jared actually squeak into the runoff, and who knows at that point.
That's a good word. Okay, final thoughts. We've had a wide-ranging conversation, but what's one thing for today that you would love for people to know and to think about?
I'll just reiterate myself, like pray a lot. And it could be formal prayers. It could just be quiet, shut up for a little while and see whatever comes to mind. And in particular, what it's done to me is it allows you to reintegrate life back in the correct direction. And because we only got a couple minutes, I'll sort of stop it there. But that's where the true battle is. It's if we can get every American to get on their knees. Maybe you're older and that doesn't work, but you know what I mean. Like to actually start their morning with prayer, to actually study the Bible, even if we disagree on certain practical things. I think all the other politics, everything else will work itself out if we win that battle first.
Amen. That's so good.
I just pictured you praying the rosary, and my stepdad growing up was raised Catholic, so we would go to mass, but the only Hail Mary he taught me was Hail Mary, full of grace, 2 potatoes had a race. One fell down and skinned its face. Don't pray that one. Someday you'll have to teach me, and I'll look up the real one.
Protestants
time
can
I-
say the first half of it. Like, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. That is what the Annunciation, and that's Elizabeth saying that to Mary. So.
Oh, I feel guilty now. But my Catholic dad told me that joke.
No,
That's all I ever learned.
That's funny.
Joey Clark, we would love to have you back on sometime. Stay in touch. So I'm like kind of mom proud.
So proud of you.
It's like watching him grow up.
Yeah. Chris Shaver says hello, by the way.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Yeah. And next time we come to Montgomery, we'll come say hey.
Awesome.
But keep us posted. Thanks so much. And we will talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye. All right, then. He's so smart.
I am just so like, I had no idea. Last time when we went down and did maybe the show with him, I remember having a conversation with him, and he was kind of tinkering, asking questions, just like God was dropping little seeds into his life. And we've kind of watched, and it would be interesting to go back to his op-eds and kind of watch the growth and evolution of Joey Clark.
They are incredible. I don't know which day of the week they're published, but follow Joey, profound thinker, incredibly expressive, and he's well worth your time. If you pick one, in addition to JP, obviously reading for the week, read Joey Clark and his thoughts. He's a great guy and a good friend, and we're thrilled that he joined us today.
Yeah, that was great. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Make sure we're all staying on the same page. But, the president has had a very difficult time getting his immigration plans and executive orders and all that into action because the blue states come rushing into court. And so one of the most important things we've done is to back him up and to say the states are harmed when the federal government doesn't do X, Y, and Z appropriately. And that's why we support the president. He has every right to do this, whether it was the travel ban from a few years back or the Remain in Mexico policy or the parole for immigrants. We have supported the Trump administration or fought the Biden administration in all of those spaces, which is something only the AG's office can do.
What are the non-negotiables for election integrity in Alabama, and as far as what the Attorney General can control?
Yeah. We obviously support all legislation that strengthens our elections. When we are inevitably sued, we defend those laws, to the furthest extent we can, and we've been very successful. When it comes to election fraud that takes place now, our office hasn't been referred, voluminous cases of election fraud, but there are places where you start looking at the number of people who voted, the number of absentee votes, and then the population there, and you kind of start to wonder. And so we've got tools to deal with voter fraud. It is a crime in Alabama, and, we investigate anything that's forwarded to us.
So talking about elections, what safeguards do you see that need to be implemented or reinforced when it comes to elections?
Yeah, I think my view on kind of the safety and security of our elections is that we do it pretty well. But I do think that Joe Lovern has a bill this session to deal with election audits and that kind of thing. I think you can always be improving. You can never be too careful. Thankfully, again, there are only a few hot spots in our state. Some of them are in the Black Belt where the numbers just don't seem right. But the non-negotiables are, we don't do ballot harvesting. That's illegal here. We have voter ID. That's a total non-negotiable. And we have clean voter rolls, which I think we've made a big effort to do. The federal government sued us under Biden when Secretary of State tried to clean up our voter rolls. We fought that. So there are limitations on, how you accomplish these things. But I think it's something you've always got to be striving to improve.
What do you think the Attorney General's role is in ensuring that our state government itself, the agencies and departments, are serving the people well, and how would you approach that part of the job?
That's a really interesting question, because I think when you're out talking about the role of the AG's office, they either know us as the crime fighters or the, Trump supporting, state sovereignty fighters. Both of those things are true. But there's this big middle section of what we do in the AG's office that never makes any headlines, but that I believe, as a former state think tank girl, really is an important role to improving our state government. We represent every state agency and every department and every regulatory board. And that gives you access to information where you start to see, what are we doing over here? What are the trends over here? Why are you getting sued all the time? Why are you making life hard on these people? And it is a little bit of a stick. I mean, we don't run the agencies. We don't direct the cabinet members, but the role we play in representing these departments can sometimes expose, bad things that need to be corrected, or things that just aren't efficient or aren't aligned with Alabama values. And so that's a role that that I have, taken on personally. All of the agency councils report through me. And so we try to have a really good system to make sure that we're doing our part to keep our government honest.
What does that look like if the reports come to you and there's trouble? Walk us through, when would somebody come to you, and then what steps happen from there?
Yeah, so any legal document that's filed in court on behalf of the state of Alabama has Steve Marshall's name on it. But those people aren't all under our roof. They're housed in different agencies. And so obviously we want it to be a collaborative relationship. I mean, we try to all, work together and work on the same team. And when I see filings or complaints or suggestions to hire outside counsel, when those things come across my desk, I mean, my first reaction is not to be hostile towards it. But sometimes you start seeing trends that you don't like, whether it's spending too much money, whether it's taking positions that really don't seem that conservative or aligned with Alabama values, or maybe not taking seriously enough things that the legislature has put in place. And so, starts with a phone call. But we do have tools. We can remove attorneys from cases. We can superintend cases. If an agency files something and we didn't see it, we can go in and say, don't listen to them, listen to us. And it's a really, really important tool that we have that's really little known, but I think we do a lot of good in that space.
I had no idea. I know we talked about it a little bit on a previous interview, but that's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, we had an issue a couple years ago. There was a regulatory board that it was the pharmacy board, regulated pharmacists. They've since had a change in leadership, so no shade on them, but they had filed a complaint against a particular pharmacy and a particular pharmacist. And when I looked at it, I was like, that's not right. I mean, that's real life. That's your livelihood. And so we went in and dismissed the complaint against the guy. It's an unusual role for the AG's office to play. The other interesting thing is that the AG by law can't really ever have a conflict, meaning conflicts don't exist. So there have been times where we've sued a state agency, even though the agency would normally be our client, just to try to get them into compliance with what we thought the law would be. We've done that on 2 occasions. Actually, I've actually taken a stand against a state agency before. It's really unusual, but it just shows that there's so many tools that the Attorney General has that if...
Hello. How are you?
Oh,
I know that drives you crazy. Okay, so we really hope you enjoyed our segment with Joey Clark. What a great guy and a great thinker. Now, though, we shall pivot. I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP. We are
Wait.
the right side.
We should what?
Pivot.
Sorry.
can I ask our listeners to please text in? This is a group effort while we watch the montage and things. I'm filling out my sample ballot, and statewide amendment 1 and 2. Number 1, proposing an amendment to the Constitution to provide for the following offenses shall be offenses for which a judge may deny bail, shooting or discharging a firearm into an occupied dwelling. Are we yes or no on that one? I think I know. Statewide amendment number 2, proposing an amendment to the Constitution to provide that the compensation of a district attorney may not be diminished during his or her term in office. Are we yes or no on that one?
So you can't cut their pay while they're still in office.
Yeah. Group project, people. Yes or no, 1 or 2.
Hey, can I add one more to throw in there that I'm really divided on this one, what to vote for? State Republican Executive Committee, Shelby County, place number 3. I'm not sure who to vote for in that race.
Well, there's this girl we know, but they spelled her name wrong. So does that mean she's who she is, or are you going to have to write somebody in over her name?
Because that's just, I've been mulling over that one for days now.
Like that, you've been on that. You've been ruminating.
It's not even my ballot.
There's an Allison Sinclair, but she spells her name with one L instead of two, like me.
Wow. I wish that
It's your doppelganger.
Allison would know.
Look, I done told them they spelled it wrong, but they didn't change it. And then Wes Allen went and printed everything, which I guess he had to. Now it's too late.
Wes.
Who was it? Brad from
No,
Crimestone.
it's not Wes's fault.
Brad from Crimestone, when we talked about this before, said that if you call him out for it, he's going to run an ad calling you Nehemiah Sinclair.
It's true. No, this is Secretary of State Wes Allen's just printing what he was given. Yeah. And he was given Allison with one L. I don't know.
It's okay.
Maybe
My
it's
name
conspiracy.
often is Annie. It's not. It's Amy. You're looking at an M. So I understand that they decided, no, she's Allison with one L, not
Do
two.
they just leave off the entire Beth? Are you
Well,
Annie Beth?
Oh, I can be Annie Beth. I can be Annie. I can be Shaver. I can be Miss Beth.
Like, can be Jovi Ray.
I can be Jovi Ray. I can be whatever you need me to be.
What was your first? Phyllis.
Phyllis.
That was your first one.
Phyllis is my country girl, my real country girl. But Jovi Ray, she's different. So anyway.
So nuanced. Okay, I'm sorry. Please text in because I don't know how to hit what to say.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Good questions. Because people are going to ask, and they're going to start asking like now.
Oh, so it's time.
All right, JP, what you got for us?
The montage.
Okay.
Well, the battle over voting maps wraps up as intense rounds of rain caused flooding at the State House.
I can tell you we were in the State House until about 5:40 when alarms went off and they started evacuating the State House. All this happening as state senators were actually debating SB 1 inside. Now, we understand that at the last moment, just before that evacuation, actually as the alarms were sounding, the Senate called a vote on SB 1 and they passed that bill. So SB 1 has passed.
So the idea that there would be life on other planets that may be visited here that would not at all shock or surprise me. Have you ever looked into it?
We're looking at it, and they're going to be publicly releasing this information very soon.
A U.S. federal judge on Wednesday released a document described as a suicide note allegedly written by Jeffrey Epstein. The handwritten note includes a line, quote, "It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye."
NBC News is reporting, my sources confirm, that Saudi Arabia 3 days ago told Trump, you can't use our bases anymore. This war is over. And now that's been confirmed. But in the last 3 days, we've seen real difference in the dial back of the military, the ships pulling back.
I think it's going to be the biggest event we've ever had at the White House. I mean, the White House doesn't really do athletic events for the most part. And these are all the greatest champions in the world. They're the greatest fighters in the world. You can tell by looking at them.
Okay. Well, as always, it's a banger of a montage. I have a question because it's fun, and we'll pivot to the State House flooding.
Well, we kind of already went through that
We
one,
kind of
so.
did, and it passed. And I just want to say that was pretty heroic of them. Like tornado, alarms, floods rising, like way to be warrior. Like that was great. How long has it been since we have held any sort of athletic event at the White House?
I don't think ever. Have
So
they
ever, never?
Have they? I don't know if they ever have.
Do y'all know? Do you know?
I mean, there's a bowling alley and a pool, but I don't think it's ever been like a formal event. And honestly, the East Tennessee redneck in me loves this, loves it. Like I say, we just do like MMA cage fighting on the lawn at this point. And then the refined statesman side of me is like, this is really kind of tacky.
So this is actually a really good discussion, I feel like, because I remember when it first was announced last year. I mean, Phil and I spent a whole segment because it is a genuine, because it's one thing of you're celebrating America's 250th in a fun way, that it's almost like a Rome Colosseum sort of like
Mm-hmm.
giving the people what they want sort of feel. But I guess it really comes down to, is that sort of tacky? It's almost, do you view it as sacred grounds, like having a octagon on the south lawn of the White House, which is where it's going to be, and the fighters walking out to the cage from the Oval Office and having a fight on the south lawn in front of the, like, is that going on sacred ground? Do you view it that way, or do you view it as this is just fun and it's a great way to celebrate? It is a interesting discussion though, because it gives a peek into how you view like the sacredness a whole of like our White House, our monuments, all of that sort of thing. They're actually doing the weigh-ins on the, like, in front of the Lincoln Memorial the day before, like where they face off and everything. And I've been an MMA fan for years. This is like where my two worlds collide. So it is fun, but it is also interesting because I can get why some people would be thinking this is like tacky.
Do you have confirmation that has there ever been another boxing event like 100 years ago?
So I looked it up, said they've hosted exhibitions throughout its history, but this is the first major professional sporting event. Well, the other ones were T-ball on the South Lawn from 2001 to 2009, holiday ice skating. Those are the examples I'm seeing. So I think this is the first real.
So is it MMA or UFC?
It's the same thing.
Oh,
it's like saying, is it NBA or basketball?
I thought like
MMA is the sport. UFC is the league.
Okay. Well, one's like slapping and kicking and punching, right?
That's also UFC, yeah.
Okay, but what's just
what was
boxing?
Hulk?
What is Hulk Hogan?
Like Hulk Hogan?
That's WWE.
That's fake.
That's
WWE.
That's
like
fake.
fake.
We're not doing that.
We're doing the real thing where somebody could really get hurt.
Yes. Are you talking about boxing? Just punches?
I
like
guess
Mike,
so.
Like Mike Tyson?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's just boxing.
Okay, so but this is all Dana White.
Yes.
Dana White is UFC, which is MMA.
Yes.
Which is blood and guts and tears.
Elbows, knees.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it is the people's house.
Yeah.
And people used to wait outside to speak to the president.
That's different than a slap fest.
It's different than a slap fest, but it is bringing the people back to the house that's already theirs. And it may not be something that I would think, well, it's a great idea. Let's UFC. However, it is a sport a lot of people like that would bring different groups together at the White House or to even just watch it. So I do think it is a good reminder that it's just like the Congress is our Congress. This is our house. Just don't let them inside near all the precious valuables. That would not be good. That's not good.
Yeah, I think they genuinely are warming up, hitting pads in the Oval Office, walking out from the Oval Office.
To
the octagon. Yes, I'm serious.
That's crazy.
I cannot believe this. Somebody mark it. Clock it. Abs is taking my stance and I'm taking Ab's stance today because I just think if the founding fathers, now they were a rough and tumble group.
They would duel.
They would duel. I get it. But they everything was so like, I'm going back to the sacred. It just seems wrong. Like I have to, now if it's on pay-per-view, I'm totally paying for it and we'll probably have a party. Okay. But if I had to choose, I would be like, can we go down the street to the whatever the place is, the big arena?
Like where the cat or the
Not Madison Square Garden.
where the Nationals.
What was it? Yeah.
Or the Wizards.
That place.
I mean the Wizards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Abs, I'm proud of you.
It is like this is like my
History.
two worlds colliding, but I really don't have much of a.
She just threw so much shade at me.
What'd you say?
No, I didn't.
She said history.
Ah.
I didn't. That's not shady.
I know my history.
No, it's not shady.
Not
at all.
I don't know. I
It's gonna be like broken legs on the lawn.
I know.
can you imagine? I just
She's excited.
yeah.
I hate
you
it.
wanna say
I
that.
won't watch it. Sometimes Chris will turn boxing on. I'm like, no.
You won't watch it?
No.
If I have a party, you won't come to my party?
Yes, but I won't watch it. I'll hide in the kitchen and find somebody to talk to.
This is fine.
So I won't watch it. But
I used to
no,
do this.
No, I'm just remembering that, like, all the things that have happened there in the past. And I'm like, okay, but I want for people to be involved in what goes on at the White House because they're like, oh, maybe it's not all what I thought it was. They're having a kickbox fighting match where somebody could break their arm or break their nose or get cauliflower ears. I'm here for it.
That's what you're worried about?
Yes, this is where my mind goes. But I don't like any of it. Please don't punch each other. The only punching I like is Rocky.
But
And
you
that's
want
with
to
the
bring
glove.
back firing squads.
Firing squad his ass.
Firing squad people's ass if they have enough if they have enough evidence. Get them out. Don't let them breathe our air. I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
It's justice.
I love it.
I'm for justice.
Can we just have like cricket on the lawn or tennis on
darling,
the lawn?
darling. Yes.
Yo, lamb.
I would be for that one.
Okay. But no, I don't. No shade at my partner in crime. Are you kidding
I'm
me?
just kidding. But it is true. You're right. They were a rough and tumble, and it is the people's house.
I mean, when they got mad back in the day, they set it on fire.
Teddy Roosevelt would box on the
Yeah,
lawn.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
That's what I was
But
thinking
he's
about.
president. Oh, Barack Obama had the basketball court.
Yeah.
I really don't have. I can understand both sides.
What did Phil say?
Phil kind of he was kind of in the same spot as me. His main take, or I think he landed on, it was a fun way. This is the people's house, the people's grounds. It's a fun way to celebrate 250. But he definitely was understanding of people being weary that it's sacred ground and such. I mean, I will watch it regardless if it's at the White House or not, so it really doesn't affect me. But I do think it's an interesting conversation.
That's it. I'm having a party. Y'all are invited.
Let's
You
go.
better show up.
When is it?
It's
Then-
June. It's the weekend before July 4th. They couldn't do it on July 4th weekend for whatever reason.
Cool.
I picture me and JP watching Joe Rogan style, like
I'll film you guys.
Have y'all seen the video of him talking about this event on his podcast? It's really funny because I think he was asked to go and he was like, yeah, I'm commentating it, but I'm not really happy about it. And they were like, why? He goes, dude, we're at war and we're going to put all of the most important people on the South Lawn at the same time.
So true.
He was like, that's the most unsafe place to be in the world.
That's true.
It's good times.
Can we
Neat.
Can we talk about the alleged Epstein suicide note?
All right. Yes.
And Allison, you may need to toss me a tinfoil hat behind you while I talk about
Oh,
this.
I'm all over that.
Okay, JP.
Begin.
When I read this,
Don't break my antenna.
it's that's what I have to say about the Jeffrey Epstein.
Looks like his writing, actually.
It does. It sounds an awful lot like the way. Never mind. JP, go.
So hold on. I
He
gotta
looks like Donald Duck.
I gotta here's my thing on this, okay?
Okay. Okay, go.
Why did it take so long for this to come out? Why did that seems like a crucial central piece of evidence that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, his own suicide note. Why would it take this long for it to come out and a judge just now put it out? And does the writing of it, I understand Jeffrey Epstein was a weird guy. If you read his emails in the files, this is kind of how he talks. He's just really like a boomer typing or whatever. But the suicide note, actually, we're going to pull it up what it said.
Yeah,
in
can you
its
read the whole
entirety.
thing?
Yes.
Because
Can you play some Palace Intrigue music underneath it? Is that possible?
Palace Intrigue.
Yeah.
what does that
I don't
sound
know
like?
if I have Palace Intrigue.
Like
it sounds
like a mystery?
yeah, like a mystery. And that may not be Palace and I'm sorry to
maybe
put you
I
on
need
the
some
spot.
Palace Intrigue on
Can
the
I
ready next
type it
time.
in and see?
Yeah, see if there's any Palace Intrigue.
All right,
music.
hold on.
It sounds an awful lot like the theme music to not really Gladiator,
Palace
that
in-
Meadow Field.
Palace
music.
Intrigue. It's a thing on Spotify. Oh no, it's a podcast.
I trust
Yeah.
you to find it. I trust you. Yeah, see?
I don't know if that's what she was looking for.
I think here.
Here, I will play
Oh,
some.
wait, stop.
I think I got some.
Okay.
What about this?
Yes.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good.
That's it.
That
That's
makes
good.
me
That's good.
nervous.
Can you say it and hold that at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good. I love it.
Jeffrey Epstein's alleged suicide note. They investigated me for months and found nothing. All caps. It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want me to do? Bust out crying? No fun. Not worth it.
Okay.
That's it?
That's his note.
That's all he.
That's all he wrote.
Let me tell you the behind the scenes of how that note got written. All right, guys, listen. Jeffrey is alive and living in Israel right now, and we really need to. Yeah, he's in Tel Aviv partying, and so what we really need to do is have enough time between his fake death and this note coming out, and write it, but then just go put it away, crinkle it up, hide it, and then and the guys who wrote this note were in khakis and a button down and long tall socks, and they were at the FBI with those old fashioned aviators. Those are the people who wrote this note, and they said, and make it sound really good, but short and sweet, so it's a little more believable.
Yeah,
because we can't let it get out that Epstein is like having a great life in Tel Aviv. That's how that happened.
It reads like somebody was told to write a suicide note like Jeffrey Epstein. It just seems so bizarre. And by the way, let me just put out there, they actually weren't even able to confirm.
Are you having Illuminati confirmed?
They were not able to confirm that Jeffrey Epstein wrote that letter. So I don't know. It seems really suspicious to me. The timing of it all, with aliens about to be put out, I don't know if Jeffrey Epstein and being found alive is about to come out as well too, and they're trying to cover their tracks. I don't know what's going on, but I'll just say this: they're turning the freaking frog gay, and they're writing suicide notes for Jeffrey Epstein to make it look like he wrote them, and I think that's weird.
Don't bury the lead. When he was found dead, the suicide note should have been found with him. How many years later are we magically finding a suicide note?
Let me tell you who wrote that suicide note. And I would love it if you could find a photo of this. Do y'all remember a few years ago? The FBI informants, CIA people, the guys that were all dressed in khaki shorts.
Yes.
I think this is what you're talking about. Tucked in, like they all looked, they're
Like
trying to
giant
be
goobs.
Republican loser goobs, but they just like matched a little too much. And we're like, that's who wrote this note.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know who you're talking
yes,
about.
you do.
JP.
It was like they infiltrated.
Think about
It was after January 6th.
the Charlottesville where
Yes.
they all are coming off like in droves, kind of like they're getting out of the clown car and they're jumping off the back of the U-Haul and lining up. And you're like, oh my gosh.
That's not what I'm thinking of, though.
But then there's a second group of people before that were in the khakis and the button down and the aviators, and they look like grown Catholic school kids.
Yes, they're like frat daddies that are trying to pose as Republican boys, but they're all FBI, and you can so tell. Oh, y'all, somebody send in that picture.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's who wrote this.
Yep.
A bunch of geeky fakers. There's no way that's real. You might as well have been like, yo, I'm sitting up here and I'm bored. That's no fun. I'm out. Deuces. Okay, he's not going to say that. Like that somebody did not do their research on Jeffrey Epstein.
Because Jeffrey Epstein is more likely to have died without a note. You just made it worse because he would just no. This doesn't make any sense. We're still back to square one, and this doesn't make any sense.
It's like me in a sombrero the other night. He still has the hat on. It's making me laugh. I'm going to find that photo.
Oh,
Okay, well, we
gosh.
got like 5 minutes, and as long as I've got the tinfoil hat on,
Yes, sir.
did y'all see that pastors were apparently sent a memo, or religious leaders were sent a memo to prepare that the UFO files may have some. I think the quote from the report was Bible-changing revelations.
Wait, kind of like Francis Collins and Rick Warren sent a memo to the pastors before. Sure. They did a lot of people in forever with those memos. Also, they're demons, and any pastor worth his salt would know that. So I did see that.
I mean, well, I can't say because the interview hasn't played yet. It's going to play next, so I can't spoil that.
But you can give a teaser.
Let's just say Robert Aderholt didn't deny that there were aliens on Redstone Arsenal. He did. Well, we'll see.
He didn't deny. He actually said, well, you'll have to pay attention. We asked what the $565 million that was just designated to Space Command was going for. You have to see his answer. But aliens are coming no matter what. But what does it mean? I mean, Kash Patel, everybody's talking about this. Trump has his speech already done. Why now? And what is it? Just demons?
It is one more way for them to control us, to put us in fear of this big, huge release. They know we've wisened up to COVID and that control, and that fell apart. And so now let's just make this up, make people afraid. Oops, they have to depend on the government again. Like it's just COVID 2.0, this time with scary aliens.
But it's so dumb because aliens telling me there are actually aliens, that does nothing for me. Apparently, y'all are telling me there have been aliens since I've been born and nothing's happened. So why am I going to all of a sudden be scared?
Because it's a government.
Yeah, it's the government.
They traffic in fear.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
This really does not hold much weight in terms of my religious beliefs. It doesn't change much. I'm kind of on the lines of what Ab said. If there's something out there that is, I would bet it's demons more than extraterrestrial life. Just the possibility, and that I believe they call it the Goldilocks zone, where we're in literally the sweet spot of the entire universe that we can tell so far that is able to have any form of life. And plus, if there is I need to take the hat off.
No, leave it on.
If there's life that is outside of our scope of where we can tell and see, then the odds that there is life outside of that and they made it to us, like the odds that there's such an advanced part of the universe out there is just so low, in my opinion. I don't know. My bet would be it was parts of the government that really went rogue and went into some advanced technology that they were so protective and defensive of that even other parts of our government weren't aware of it, and they were willing to kill people over it. And that part of the government needed to be reined under control. And that may be what this is.
That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think. But also, if I wouldn't put it past that there's demons or whatever, but the fact that you're going to say that this will be Bible changing revelation, like it's not going to change anything about what I believe.
Yeah. Because somewhere in that book, I'm kidding. It's in the Old Testament. There is nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just took the air out of your argument, sir. Whatever it is, whoever's saying this, was it Cash that said it?
Mm-hmm.
UFOs disclosure. It says that there's nothing new under the sun.
Do we need to go read the book of Enoch?
No.
That didn't make it in the canon.
It didn't.
That's what everybody's saying. Go read it.
I mean, because
that's what that's what the people are going to use to defend it, right?
Well, the wheels in Ezekiel, people speculate he was talking about aliens and that.
Listen, I just no. I send to you Bruce Gore or George Grant on those subjects, but the Book of Enoch didn't make it, and there's a reason for it, but. It's
Enoch,
interesting.
Not Enoch?
Enoch. You're right.
No, I mean, I know I'm genuinely asking. I've never said the word out loud. I've just read it.
No, I think it's Enoch.
Well,
but who knows? We didn't meet him, so we don't know.
That book. Wait, do I need to tell everybody what's happening?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the first time we've ever pre-recorded an interview. So when we come back, we will be in yesterday's clothes and we'll be with Robert Aderholt. And you really don't want to miss it. We cover abortion pill, we cover redistricting, we talk about the farm bill, and we get to aliens. So we will see y'all tomorrow. Enjoy the interview.
care about getting the job right and you only care about chasing headlines, none of that stuff I mentioned, you wouldn't do it. You know, I mean, there wouldn't be any use for it if you're just there for the politics of it. And so something I'm passionate about, again, I think that goes back to my experience at API and just really understanding our state government and the areas where it could be improved. And, you know, I think with the next governor, that's certainly something I'd be able to offer. Like, hey, Governor Tuberville, you need to know I've been seeing these trends out of this agency and we're not going to be able to continue to defend this. Can you help me out? And that's how it ought to work.
That's great.
One of the things we saw during COVID was, and really actually past COVID, is DEI and SEL and all this critical race theory stuff has kind of trickled down into even rural Alabama, which people swore it would never be there. But the federal government and schools, because we do take federal money, there are things that they push down that we have to follow. I'm thinking about all the Title IX, gender ideology, girls and boys and girls locker rooms and all that kind of stuff. What's your stance as if you were Attorney General of how do you protect the state and what the people of Alabama want? And balance that with the federal government mandating these things happen?
Yeah, so not to nerd out on you, but like in 2016, I wrote this paper before I left API called Selling Our Sovereignty. And I laid out all the federal funding that Alabama receives, which is not inherently bad. But I said, what if some administration comes in that's hostile to our values and starts using that as a way to shove things on us that we would never vote for in the ballot box? Well, they did, you know, and Biden learned that very early on. I mean, we had a situation one day where our Department of Agriculture called and they were like, we're going to lose our free school lunch program if we don't do this gender language stuff in all of our documents. And I was like, whoa.
It was the bathrooms. You had to have,
They threatened it through our WIC program, Women, Infant, and Children's, you know, supplemental nutrition program. They wanted that to be genderless. School lunches, you know, and then needless to say, public schools generally. So there's two ways you have to approach those things. On the one hand, you're running into federal court and you're suing and you're trying to get it stopped. And we do that and we do it well. But the backside of that is somebody's got to be communicating with state agencies to say, look, we can't let you violate state law, but we also know your federal funding is at risk. Let's work through this and navigate this together. And that's a big part of the role I played. It's like we're over here litigating, and yes, we want to win. But I mean, you know, I was writing legal memos all the time, trying to give these agency heads and their general counsels advice on, you know, not forfeiting the money because, I mean, the program is partially paid for by the federal government, but here's how you can maneuver, here's how you can navigate it, and then sort of policing to make sure that the stuff wasn't being pushed through anyway. Again, that's kind of the inside baseball part of it, but there's a lot of aspects to this stuff. You don't just file the lawsuit. There's a lot of work to do within state government, and goodness knows during COVID, I mean, I was putting out memos once a day saying, you can't do this, you can't do this. You've got to adhere to state law, and we will try to help you work through the threats coming from the federal government.
So is that what it means then, where sometimes people see the Attorney General's office as that last line of defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Attorney General got that tagline as the Republican AGs, not all of them. Some of them aren't a good line of defense at all nationally if they're Democrats, but they got that because it was during Obamacare. If you remember, the state sovereignty was really threatened over a provision of Obamacare that was going to like force states to do Medicaid expansion and some other things. And for once, the United States Supreme Court said, okay, states are independent and separate sovereigns. Like, we've got to acknowledge that. And so that kind of became the tagline. And what it means can be on the national front. It can also mean in the state, even though people don't think about it that way as much. But it's kind of like when all else fails, Congress doesn't get things done very quickly. The president gets stymied at every turn. Who do you look to that can be agile and quickly rush in, you know, to either promote something or defend something? And it really is the AGs usually working together, and it's pretty effective.
What do you think is the most significant legal threat facing Alabama in the years to come?
Not to beat a dead horse, but it's just a reclaiming of our state sovereignty. We really haven't made much progress. We've won some cases, so you solved the immediate issue, but large scale. Have you heard Congress having a debate lately about how to return power to the states? We are going to keep having the same problems over and over and over again every time there's a Democrat in the White House. Every time. Because they look at Alabama as a deep red state, but it's a poor state that's heavily reliant.
Thrilled to be joined by Congressman Robert Aderholt, and just wanted to take the opportunity first to say thank you for joining us today, and then to ask you about your thoughts on redistricting and what you think will happen in Alabama.
Sure. Well, it's good to be with you. Thanks for having me on. I'm honored to be with you all, and I look forward to having a chance to chat about this and hopefully in the future many other things.
Absolutely. So what do you think is going to happen with the map? I know we're waiting for the injunction to be lifted. And then do you think that there's going to be enough time to get this redrawn? And do you think it's going to be a 7-0 map?
Yeah. First of all, the congressional delegation, we're at the mercy of the state legislature. As you well know, the state legislature is given the full authority to draw congressional districts. So we don't really, the Congress, in this way it is across the country, whether it be Alabama, whether it be Alaska or California, the state legislators are tasked with drawing the legislative districts. And so usually it's done on a 10-year period, but it doesn't always have to be on a 10-year period. Usually it's done on a 10-year period because of the census. When the new census numbers come back, then they reconfigure the congressional districts according to where population has drifted to and certain parts of the state and more densely populated than others. And so they can evenly make sure that every congressional district in the state and really the nation, as far as that goes, that they're all equally in number, so that one congressional district is not overly populated and whereas another is underpopulated. So with that being said, obviously the Supreme Court case that came out last week out of the U.S. Supreme Court really sort of changed the dynamics. As you know, under the Voting Rights Act, there has always been minority districts that have been drawn. And just as recent as just a couple of years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, the federal courts had said there had to be 2 minority districts in the state of Alabama. So that's where we are today. And the legislature had drawn a district where they tried to be fair and tried to draw one that was reasonable, so the courts they thought would approve, and they threw it out. And my understanding is what one of the proposals down there is to go back to that ruling or that map because they felt like that was a fair map. And I don't know exactly. I've not seen the numbers, but this is what is called the Livingston map, I believe. But it was a map that was drawn, I guess Steve Livingston, senator from Northeast Alabama, was very involved in helping draw that. And it would be it would not put a second minority district per se, but it would give opportunities for everybody in the state of Alabama to have equal opportunity to be elected to Congress, whether they're black or whether they're white. So it sounds like that's the path they're on. There is some proposals out there to try to do what is called a true 7-0 map, where there's no chance that a Democrat could be elected in any of the congressional districts. I don't know all the details of what has gone on behind the scenes as far as the court orders, but I know that the Supreme Court says that you cannot use race to determine the makeup or the outlines of a congressional district. But the 7th congressional district is predominantly black. It's been in place for 40 years. And there is some down there that are afraid that if you do away with that one, in addition to doing away with the new district that was drawn, where Shamari figures is that would be an overreach and the court would put everything on hold and we couldn't even get the additional seat until a different court order came through, and who knows when that would be. So the safe thing that I think, my understanding, I've talked briefly to a few legislators, is they want to go ahead and at least get one seat now, and then maybe come back later and see if there's a possible get another seat.
There are definitely lots of moving parts. We had Steve Marshall on yesterday trying to explain it to us like we were 5. I think we said we were going to go with 10, and then we backed it down to 5 because it's really confusing, all the parts that have to fall into place. I'm curious, though, what is the feeling in D.C. among Congress? Is there excitement? Because this is happening across the country, mainly in southern states. But what would DC, the White House, be happy with 6-1, or are they like, we're going 7-0, or are we just happy that we're able to even have this conversation?
I think they're just happy to have this conversation at this point because obviously 1 or 2 seats, and this is happening across, like Louisiana, this is all revolves around in Louisiana, where they had one minority district like we had, and then the court came in and said, you've got to have a second, an almost identical scenario that we have in Alabama. And the court said that second seat was the one that was racially drawn. And of course, obviously, the 7th district in Alabama is racially drawn to some extent, but it has been in place for 40 years. And so I don't know how the courts are going to look at that. And right. I think that's what they're afraid of, it moving too fast, too quickly, and overreach, and then we end up not getting anything. So getting one seat in November, this November, not even, we don't have to wait 2 years, would be a big, could decide the majority for the Republicans. So that's very appealing. And then if not, we would be back to where we are right now. So I think personally let's go ahead and get the 6 that we know we can get, and then look at it, and next time maybe do some redrawing and maybe get all 7, but make sure that it's in the consistent with the laws that were handed down by the Supreme Court, and make sure the whole thing is not thrown out.
So let's talk for a minute about another issue that has been in the courts, which is mifepristone. You are so strongly pro-life and have done an excellent job with that. Could you update us on what's going on there, and just give us an update on mifepristone?
Yeah, well, we've been working on this issue, filing briefs with the Supreme Court on these cases, and it's really dealing with the FDA, and where the FDA has come down and said that these abortion-inducing pills, mifepristone, it's always a hard word for me to say, is a we'll call it abortion drug, has actually been said that it's okay. But if you look at the actual, I guess, where mothers have, and I call them mothers because they had a baby, have taken these, there's been a lot of complications. Mm-hmm. And right now you can get those through the mail without any doctors checking anything or making sure that there's no issues. And that's where there has been a lot of loss of life, and there's been a lot of health issues with a lot of women that have taken these abortion-causing drugs. So that's why we think the FDA, even Trump's FDA, was overreaching when they allowed these to be put in the, being sold up through the mail. And the Supreme Court, I was really shocked to see this recent ruling, and this has just been, as you know, I think over the weekend, I think it may have been Friday, when this Supreme Court ruling came out to go ahead and they wanted to put a hold on it, which I was a little surprised. And as a matter of fact, I was a little surprised that Justice Alito did that, because there is numerous cases where these abortion-causing drugs, that we'll call them, have caused real medical issues with women. Mm-hmm. And it is something that needs to be, if they are going to be using these types of drugs, you've got to have a doctor involved, as opposed to somebody ordering something through the mail, is the bottom line. You're
right. I listened yesterday, 1 in 25 women end up in the hospital after using mifepristone. 1 in
That is
25.
incredibly high
that
number.
sounds very consistent with the numbers that I've seen. I don't have the stats before me, but that it is very dangerous for women, especially young girls, to be ordering something through the mail that will abort a baby and not be followed up with any kind of doctor visit. So mifepristone is definitely one of those things that, I'm not for it even being, first of all, let me go on the record and say, and I'm not even for this abortion drug to even be available because I'm against abortion. But if it is, then definitely they've got to have a doctor involved.
And so this ruling was just a temporary restriction on sending this drug through the mail. What is the long-term hope?
The long-term hope is, I think, when they look at these stats that you just talked about, and others have gotten numerous statistics that say the same thing, that they'll say this is just something that the FDA should pull back and say, yes, we need to hold up on allowing mail order abortion drugs like mifepristone, and we need to make sure that that a doctor is involved in this and prescribing this before somebody just orders it off through the mail.
So, okay. So it's not reconsideration of the drug use at all. It's just, but this is a layer of protection for these young moms, or any mom. Like you said, that's exactly what they are. And I think a lot of times there's not that informed consent where they understand what they're actually doing, what the side effects, what the potential complications are. So this is very much needed.
I would say that what my hope would be is that the Supreme Court would say that, mifepristone is a drug out there, and it's again, I don't like it. It's not consistent with my pro-life stance, but if it's going to be given, a doctor needs to be given, as opposed to somebody ordering it through the mail.
I want to talk, totally shifting gears, about the Farm Food and National Security Act that just passed. And I know you were involved with that heavily. Can you talk generally what it does for American farmers, but specifically, what does this do? How does this help Alabama's farmers?
Yeah, well, the farm program I've been a very big advocate of trying to help farmers with various farm programs. And the reason why is I think the family farm has been one of the, really the bedrock things of America from the very beginning. You went back 100 years ago or even 50 years ago, and you had so many family farms that really fed America. And unfortunately, a lot of these family farmers have not been able to survive because of high prices, because of input costs, you name it. And so they've had to go out of business, and they've had to sell their family farms. This gives rise to the big corporate farms, and also having to get our food from other countries. And I think for no other reason, national security purposes, I think it's important that we protect the family farm, and therefore having those safety nets in there so that they can farm. I know there's some argument on the other side that would say, well, if somebody can't make it farming, too bad. Then they should do something else. But I really think that I don't want us to have to depend on other countries from getting our food in this country. And I think we need to have not a giveaway program, but a safety net program so that the family farm, and I'm not talking about the big corporations, I'm talking about the small family farms that make up rural America, that really is predominantly in rural America, that they have a safety net so that they can get loans and they can get particular programs that help them survive, as opposed to them just dying on the vine and just saying, we can't afford to do this. So that's why I think the farm program is important, and passing a farm bill is important, because at the end of the day, the farmers are, some of the greatest people in this country. They know what hard work, they know what really family values is all about. And if we get rid of the family farm, it really concerns me about the overall look for this country.
That makes so much sense. I'm so glad you guys did that. Y'all are doing good things, and we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, and like I said, you can. There would be some that says, if you can't, then too bad. We'll just buy it from China. But it'll be, but or Kazakhstan or wherever. But I just don't want us to depend solely on imports for our food, especially if no other reason for national security purposes.
Thank you. We have about one more minute, and I have to ask this question. I saw that $565 million was just allocated for Space Command and Redstone Arsenal. We're curious if that's going to be for alien storage with all this alien talk in DC. If it's not for alien storage, what is it going for?
Oh, he said it could be, Allison.
No, I think probably what it's going for, and I've not seen the actual language, but I think probably what it's for is for they're building they're going to move the new facility from Colorado Springs here into Huntsville, which, by the way, as I mentioned, where I am today, and therefore they've got to set up a new facility. And this will be for the new offices and for where the Space Command will actually be, the permanent place it will be Space Command be headquartered.
That's awesome, but that's way more boring than alien storage units.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm one of those people who believe that, we've got to look into those things. Some people dismiss it as, but I'm actually one of those folks that's like, there's really a lot of strange things goes on out there, and that occur, and to turn a blind eye to it, I think is completely, not the right thing to do. I'm not one who believes in space aliens everywhere, but obviously there's been a lot of things that have been reported over the years. And while Space Command, I don't know necessarily will be in charge of that, I do think that, I've never been in favor of the government trying to hide things and keep these reports sealed that nobody can find out what's in them.
See, you can't see our faces, but they were like devastated when I asked you that. But he's with me.
Well, he is, which means when Space Command opens up, he should probably give us a tour
of the alien storage.
I will be happy to do that.
Okay.
You count on that.
Okay, because we would love to come up there and see it all when it happens.
It's been recorded.
Yes.
He said that.
Yeah, he did. But see, he's a
probably
good.
take it back.
I knew he would. I knew he'd be okay with that.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Keep us updated. We'd love to have you back on as things unfold. It's always entertaining in Washington, D.C.
Thank you. Well, thanks. It's good to be with you, and I look forward to being on again. Talk to you later.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
We're going to Space Command, guys.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we're going to space camp.
No, I didn't ask him about
Maybe
Space
camp.
Camp.
That's the next
We'll ask
phase.
him next time.
But if we can get on, if we could,
Allison, just don't get us arrested.
give it abs. You did that.
Can you imagine Congressman
You like that,
Aderholt
didn't you?
No, that was good.
walking up to, and this is where and then we just get swarmed of like, back up, back up. I'm a congressman. I'm a congressman.
Hey, it could happen. Stranger things have happened.
I don't know if we
So-
would pass clearance.
Clarence.
I don't know.
Do you know that movie? Have you ever watched the movie Airplane?
Yes. Okay. I
Okay.
thought I was going to say
What's our
airplane.
vector, Victor?
It's like, that was-
Don't call me
Sluggish.
Shirley.
that is peak comedy.
Like a wet sponge.
That's funny.
How soon can you land? I can't tell. You can tell me. I'm a doctor.
That's good.
Not for another 2 hours. You can't take a guess for another 2 hours.
How do you like your coffee? Y'all know that one?
Like I like my women.
No, black, like my men.
Oh,
That's what she says.
She says
That
it.
is-
She does say it.
And she speaks jive.
She-
It's so funny.
It's a funny movie. It
So
really is.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in that movie.
What?
Yeah, he was one of the pilots.
Hey,
Oh!
have you seen? Have you seen the other? Like, okay, that was Airport, but there's another one called Airplane 77, where they land underwater and it's them trying to get out, but it's also equally comedic.
I've never seen that one.
That's
Oh,
they
it
only
is-
watch that in Pennsylvania.
Let me tell you something.
It's a Yankee movie.
I watched it this summer. It's stupid,
It
but
sounds
it's funny.
stupid.
But it's as stupid as Airplane is.
Is that like
I'm going to show you in a minute when we finish up our
I
segment.
said,
I'm going to show you.
We're about to do
Airplane.
Would You Rather, but
Okay.
the part where they walked up and the stewardess was like, "Excuse me, are you a doctor?" And it cuts to him and he has a stethoscope in his ears as his headphones. He goes, "That's right."
I'm so proud of you, JP.
That's a great.
I'm
For
really
once,
proud of
he's
you.
like, "What?"
Yeah.
No, this time he's all in.
He's all in.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome
Cool.
to adulting.
All right,
Adult
JP.
world. All right.
we
Would you
got-
rather?
We got
What you got?
a couple of good Would You Rathers. This is a good one. Would you rather have a video game come to life or you get trapped inside of a video game?
Oh gosh.
I got mine.
What's the difference? Wouldn't it feel the same?
No, because I imagine I'll just use GTA for example. But imagine you're in real life and then the characters are in this world and
they're still in your car.
You get sucked into the world of the video game and you are in the video game world. So it's essentially like the characters in the game come to this world or you go into the world of the
Oh, like Jumanji kind of, but not really.
Yes.
It's not a video.
Yeah,
But I mean,
or
it's
do
a
you want
game.
the opposite?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm having them come here because you might have a moment of normalcy.
I say come here. I don't want to get trapped anywhere that I can't get out of. And if I get trapped in there, how do I know I'm actually going to get out?
It's like the Matrix. How do you know you're in the trap?
No, you're going to come here.
I'm going into the video game.
Of course you are.
100%.
Why?
That'd be so sick.
You would be stealing cars and killing people all day.
I probably wouldn't choose GTA. I'd probably do Red Dead Redemption, the cowboy game.
That sounds better.
That's acceptable.
I'm going the Jumanji route. For
All
sure.
right. Okay.
Would you rather watch the same movie on repeat for the rest of your life or listen to the same 10 songs for the rest of your life?
The same movie?
Yeah, watch the same movie on repeat for the rest of your life. The only movie you can watch is that. Or listen to the same 10 songs for the rest of your life.
I'm going movie because I don't watch a lot of movies anyway. It probably feel new every time.
I'm going 10 songs because
Yeah, I
that's
bet.
practically
10 songs.
I could pick my favorite 10 songs and I would be fine listening to just those 10 songs.
Basically, that's what I do now. So if I'm
What
honest.
changes?
Would you rather eat the same dinner for the rest of your life or give up social media?
Give up social media.
Please take away social media.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do one more.
Okay.
That's a weird one.
Scare face.
It's fun that we are learning his faces.
Yeah. I don't even want to know what that one said.
Oh God, some of these are bad. Hold on. Okay, here's a good one. Oh, actually, no, that's not a good one. Would you rather have nosy neighbors or noisy neighbors?
We've had nosy
Oh.
neighbors before. I take nosy over noisy because noise drives me crazy after a certain time. Think about on vacation when people are lumbering, stomping upstairs, and if you're in a big hotel.
Yeah. I'm probably going nosy.
Because at
Oh,
least
but
they
that's
care.
awful. We left a neighborhood because of nosy neighbors.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
How nosy?
We had one in when we lived in Florida.
Ah.
You left a neighborhood over nosy neighbors?
Yeah, I mean, just and it was these two sisters that both lived in the neighborhood, and they were old and retired, and they didn't have anything else to do, so they would get in their golf carts and just drive around and find all your HOA infractions in your yard, and then you get
double
reported,
Karen?
and then they'd be like, "I saw you at the playground with blah, 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 blah. I thought y'all were in a fight." It was just like, and we're like,
What the heck?
Oh, I know where you lived.
"Yeah, you do know where I
Oh
live."
gosh. We were almost neighbors because we almost lived where you lived.
Well, we would have both left.
Absolutely. Just like that.
Yeah, gone.
We had a nightmare HOA in Florida and a nightmare neighbor. And then one who from across the street would watch everything we were doing. And one time we shot off fireworks and they
Creepy.
accused us of shooting them at his house. And I'm like, you obviously don't know fireworks very well, do you, buddy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll handle the nosiness to a certain extent. I cannot stand noisy. and
Okay, I
loud.
thought you were going noise.
No.
Ugh.
I mean, I can't.
Let's
even,
put that rooster back in
Yeah.
your yard.
I wish there was a camera of me walking on my patio and just.
On rotisserie.
Y'all, it was a good day. It was fun. I don't know how we got back in our clothes that we wore yesterday.
Dude, that's so
It
bizarre.
is so weird, like that. But we will be back tomorrow with the Bussy brief. Caitlin Bussy will be back with us to tell us all the things in DC. So until then, y'all make good choices and stay on the right side. Toodles.